Hi guys, it's Keith here, Morgantium. I hope you're all well. I'm going to look at a tank tonight. This tank is the big boss, but it's not really, it's quite small. From Shenzhen Cloudy Tech Company Limited. The only place I've seen these for sale is on Alibaba. They do have a Facebook page, but I noticed on the Facebook page it was all clones. I didn't actually see the big boss. So maybe Cloudy Tech were famous for making clones. I don't know. I've never heard them before receiving this. Yes, it was a sort of colleague and friend from China asked me if I would take a look at the Big Boss tank. So I said yes. So she sent me a couple to review. Yeah, it's a 22mm base tank. So it's 22 millimeters at the bottom, and it sort of tapers up to about 23.5mm. You've got a standard 510 drip tip in the top. It's top filling. It's got a standard 510 base, non-adjustable. So remember, use it on your regulated devices, not in a hybrid. It holds 3.5 mils of juice. On Alibaba, I've seen these for about $14 to $16. So yeah. So anyway, let's go straight down to the close-up and have a look at this tank.
And let's take a look at this Big Boss tank. This Big Boss tank from Cloudy Tech TM. I've actually never heard of Cloudy Tech. They're very new to myself. Not heard of them at all. Yeah, so what's in the box? What we got? Packing. One Big Boss tank. One RBA coil head, glass tube, Japanese cotton, screwdriver, 2 screws, 2 coil wires. Keep it reach children, usual warnings. There you go. Shenzhen Cloudy Technology Co. Limited. The contact numbers and an email address. Made in China. An address again. Yeah, so. Now I've had this now, gosh. I've had these tanks about 4 weeks, yeah. And I've been using this. It's got a very strange coil head, which I'll come on to, but I've been using it about 4 weeks. Coil head that I've been using in this tank is now starting to go. I mean, it's starting to taste a little funky. So let's see what you get in the box. You get a big description, manual, your packing, you've got your specifications. So this tank it's 65 millimeters in height, and it's 22 millimeters in diameter. Yeah, well, it's not really. And it's 3.5 mils of juice. 2 separate chamber design, most dense vapor, mega clouds. RBA section also comes in the box. You see a velocity style deck, I'll show you that in a minute. Drip tip, top cap, connector, your coil, your RBA coil head, your base, how to remove it to fill it up. You know, your instructions. Right, let's move on to the tank itself. Right, in the box we get a little packet of bits and pieces. So you've got O-rings, you've got an Allen wrench, you've got a couple of coils here, spare screws. You've got your Japanese cotton. And we got this Big Boss tank, wrapped in cellophane. Now, if we do a zoom in, it's 22 millimeters across the bottom, right? But then it comes out to about 23.5 millimeters for the rest of the tank, and then tapers back in again. So it's got a sort of bell shape coming in and out, very similar to the old Keflin version 4. But it sits flush. I mean, I'll show you here on the stout. I mean, it is a flush 22 millimeters around about the base. The airflow control, you've got a 15mm wide by 2mm or 2.5mm airflow, cycloptic on each side. It's quite a stiff airflow, but it doesn't go all the way around. It's very stiff, which is nice. It ain't going to spin around, but it locks as well, won't go all the way around. So it's very nice. I do like that airflow. Unscrew the top like this to fill it. Come on. Threads are nice. I mean, threads are very, very nice. You've got a lot of gaps here Lots of space there to get your drippers down and fill it up, no problem at all. I've had no issues filling these tanks up. I've actually had no issues with leaking either, which has been surprising. I've never had it leak on me using the coil heads. Not used the RBA section yet. Right, let's take this apart and show you the rest of the device. Top comes off like this. There's your top section. And the good thing is I've noticed there's no machine oil scent at all. Literally quick rinse and you're ready to go. Now this is a coil head. Can you see the two stainless steel coils in tandem to each other? A very strange and unique design. And it works. It does actually work. I've had no issues with wicking or with leaking. I've had no burnt hits. As I said, I've been using it at 225 degrees centigrade in temperature mode and it's working perfectly. As I said, that's probably 2.5 weeks I've been using that coil head now and it's really starting to go funky, so I do need to change. I don't know if I can get Big Boss coil heads in the UK yet. Coil comes off like that. Your base section. It's a non-adjustable 510. Oh, 065. That's a low serial number. Yeah, you're using this device on your regulated box mods for safety. Don't think of putting this in a hybrid. I mean, it's for use with temperature control devices, and it works well with temperature control devices. But yeah, it's a big coil head. As you say, it's very similar in size to the old TFV4 coil heads, but a very unique design. I do like it. It does. It's almost got that sort of dripper taste because you've got two separate coil heads. You've got a wicking hole here and a wicking hole here, and that's it. That's all you've got in the way of wicking on these coil heads. But it does wick. It does wick. I don't know what these two. There's a hole there, and there's a hole there at the back. I don't know what they're for. Whether they're for letting the air out or letting juice through. I've got no idea what the actual function these two little holes here are. Maybe similar to like an RDTA or a Genesis style tank. It's so that the juice can wick in when you're vaping. I don't know. I'd hope that Cloudy Tech would get back to me and let me know what these actual two holes are for. Excuse the dog barking. On the base you've got 4 large diameter air holes that feed these coils. Let's take a look at the RBA section. Right, this is our RBA section. Cloudy SC Velocity RBA. They're really well engraved, and the coil heads and the RBA sections are very well engraved. They're very well manufactured as well. As I said, the threads have been fantastic on the one I've been using for the past 2.5 weeks. Very nice threads, and no machine oil scent either, as I said before. The threads are really good. Here you've got your Velocity style deck. You get your 2 air holes here, and you wick. I mean, it's a Velocity style deck. I mean, how many? I'm not going to build on this because I mean, there's lots of videos out there of people wicking up and coiling Velocity decks. I suppose because of this, the way that the tank actually bells out, I mean, that's probably a good 18mm in diameter, that RBA section. It's almost the same size as a standard Eagle pen. And you also get spare glass. You got spare quartz glass tank. Let's put this back together. There's the base section. Base section's here. And the glass. And this section. Can't see it there. Combined. There we go. It's very difficult to do through the viewfinder, but that screws on nicely. Yeah, the threads are buttery smooth. Plenty high quality O-rings as well. As I said, I've never had any leaking from this tank whatsoever, but as I said before, this part here is 22mm in diameter. As in it bells out, so this is probably how they're getting away with this sort of larger size coil head and RBA section. Big boss. That's the only part of the tank I don't like. Who uses Comic Sans on a tank? I don't like this. If you did, plain like this, that's nice. But this Comic Sans font, this Comic Sans font is just no. I just wouldn't have, or change the font. I don't like that. That makes the whole tank look cheap. This font makes it look very cheap. I don't like that, because overall the tank is actually very good. I've got no issues with the tank whatsoever. I have no idea how much it costs. I imagine it's a budget tank. I've never heard of Cloudy Tech before, but this is a very good product. Let me see if I can find. There we go. Right, here's the Freemaxilla. Wow, the Freemaxilla is huge compared to the Big Boss. It should be called Little Boss. Yeah, my leaky Freemaxilla. Yeah, I should have picked a clean Sub Ohm. I don't have many Sub Ohm tanks now, so I mean, yeah, it's a good 4mm shorter than the Scylla. So this Big Boss tank ain't so big. It's actually quite a nice sized tank. I do like it. Right then, we'll go back up and I'll give you my pros and cons and tell you what I think. Thanks, guys.
Okay then, so that was a close-up of the Big Boss tank from Shenzen Cloudy Tech Company Limited. Yeah, on Alibaba. Now this it's a cheap little tank. It is. It's a very cheap little tank, but it's very well made. I've been using this for 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. This coil head actually it went past its best about a week ago, to be honest. I've been using it in temperature mode because it is a stainless steel 316L coil head, those dual coils that you saw in the close-up. Been using it at about 225 degrees centigrade, and it's been working really, really well. Quick vape. Turn up a bit. The vapour production is really, really good. I mean, for the first sort of week and a half, the flavour was really nice. It was really good with that coil head. When you saw the coil head in the close-up, because of that sort of strange design, it did take at least a day to bed in. There was a slight sort of funky taste coming from the cotton and the coil for a day, and then the coil bedded in, and it was great. For a week and a half, no issues. Really, really good flavour. Strong flavour, actually. I mean, it's a Sub Ohm tank, to be honest. There's so many Sub Ohm tanks in the market at the moment. This is a budget, cheap Sub Ohm tank. To be honest, you're not going to find that, or probably not going to find this in your main street sort of brick and mortar vendor, or these big online electronic cigarette vendors, to be honest. In my opinion, you're probably going to be walking along some market somewhere on a Sunday. There'll be a guy selling electronic cigarette devices and knockoff juice. If you see this, if you do see the Big Boss tank, pick it up. Purchase this. Because actually, I've really enjoyed using the Big Boss tank, although it's not a big tank. I don't know why they called it the Big Boss, because it's not. When you saw in a close-up, the Scylla from Freemax is much taller, much bigger tank. But overall, I've really enjoyed using this tank. I would like to see these in shops. I've got no issues with it at all. It doesn't leak. I've had no leaking at all from this, and it's been in my pocket. It's been in the car. I've been on trips with it, and I've never had any leaking from it whatsoever. It's dead easy to fill, dead easy to change the coils. The airflow is really, really good, although the airflow is a little noisy. That's a bit bit hissy. And if you close the airflow down, it tends to whistle. So that's probably one con. It's a bit noisy. But what Sub Ohm tank isn't noisy? Yeah, it's really well made. I've said that already. It is really well made. The threading's really, really good. Goes together, comes apart easily. All the O-rings are of high quality. The Big Boss. Overall, I like it. Yeah, I do. And as I said, if you do see this, if you watch this video, you watch this review, and you've been to a market or you've been to a a little sort of cheap electronic cigarette shop, and you've seen this tank for sale, give it a shot, give it a try, because you might surprise yourself. And it does come with a really, really nice rebuildable base section. So yeah, that was the Big Boss tank from Shenzen Cloudy Company Limited. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you found it useful, and speak to you soon. Thanks. Bye.